I the asshole? I told my parents they birthed a disabled child, so they just have to live with it.
Subhanallah.
What?
Subhanallah.
Actually, I'm very okay. Now that this is starting to come back to me.
Can you reread the title?
Well, it's like, am I the asshole? And then like a slash or a bracket, right? So it says, I told my parents they birthed a disabled child, so they just have to live with it.
Oh, okay. I misheard. Okay.
Yeah, that was the phrase that was said, and they're asking, was that an asshole thing to say?
Okay. All right.
Okay. I, 22 female, have been diagnosed with ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, low muscle issues, anxiety, and I'm slightly blind.
Oh my God.
I got diagnosed from the age of 2 to 7 with everything. Due to all of my diagnoses, I'm unable to drive anywhere. I can still bus places and take Ubers, but being driven somewhere else is sometimes the best option for me. Multiple doctors told my parents that I would be unable to drive due to being slightly blind and having anxiety. As I'm unable to hold a full-time job, I don't have heaps of money coming in, so Ubers are usually my last resort. Yesterday, I asked my dad if he could pick me up as the bus I was supposed to take never came. When he went to pick me up, he made a few comments saying that it would be a lot easier if I could drive, and how I should learn to drive anyways, despite the fact that doctors don't want me to, and as he hates having to pick me up all the time. I replied that it's just what happens when you have a disabled child, and it's something that you have to put up with. He took massive offense to this and told my mom, who thought I was being incredibly rude. He picks me up once or twice a week at most. Am I the asshole?
He is.
Let's talk
He
about
is
it.
the asshole.
Let's talk about it.
Because, yeah. Okay. So let me break this up. I understand where she's coming from. And parenthood is something in which you have to take care of your child.
Mm-hmm.
Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay?
Yeah.
Especially when the kid has a type of sickness in which you have to have more care for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Agree or disagree?
Agree.
So 100% the parents need to take care of this kid because there are so many things in which she's incapable of doing on her own.
Right.
You know? The part that I disagree with is the way she worded that sentence, you know? It's kind of like, you should do this, you know, because X, Y, and Z, you know? In fact, she should be a little bit more grateful that her parents are doing this for her, you know? Because it's probably years upon years upon years in which they've done so much for her.
Yeah, this is a 22-year-old woman.
Yeah, so they're continuing for 22 years. They've basically done everything for this girl, you know?
Right.
And I get it, like, it's always like the honorable thing to be like, I will take care of this person no matter thick and thin, right? But in reality, it's harder than it looks, you know? And there's going to be times where the boiling point is at its all-time high. But as a person, as a caregiver, you always have to take that down, right? Because this is your child and you love them and you have to do everything for them. For her to kind of have this arrogant tone and be like, you should do this because of this, like I've been doing this for you forever. Do you not have any respect for me as a human being, as a parent figure? Like, respect me. I think in that comment that she made, she didn't respect him and saw him more as an Uber and less as a father.
Right.
And for that reason, I think she's the asshole.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Well said.
It does make sense, but at the same time, if someone's being told by medical, let's take a side. We would never disrespect our parents. That's not what I'm justifying here. But if someone is told by medical professionals, hey, like, this is why she can't drive, and the whole family's being told this.
Yeah.
That she has blindness, she has anxiety, whatever it may be, and you're still making slight comments at her, but it's something that she can't control. She may be able to work at with your care, but she can't control the fact that she's not in this position to drive.
Yeah.
And we don't know. She didn't mention she said there's slight comments, including that you should learn how to drive.
Okay.
So we don't know the extent of what he said to trigger that, you have a disabled child. I am your disabled child. In the title, I thought she was talking about something else, but she's talking about herself.
Yeah, so did
I am your disabled child. This is what comes with it. It should be some sort of realization in her emotion that, she's frustrated about this too. As a person, you don't want to be driven around all the time. You don't want to be a burden on someone else. If it comes to the extent where the bus that I was your daughter, the bus I should have been on didn't come, this is out of her control.
Okay.
So in that moment, comments that you should learn how to drive shouldn't that's unnecessary. That's obvious that everyone wants to drive. But if you're not in the position to, and especially you're in a position where you're stranded somewhere and you need to rely on family to come get you, especially your father, is that really the moment to be making slight comments?
I agree with you that, maybe he shouldn't have said that comment, but back to the point I was making, there's boiling points.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something consistently for 22 years, there's gonna be ugly sides of me, I'm not a perfect human being. Should I have said that? No, but there's gonna be times where stuff come out of my mouth which I don't really mean, but they come out of frustration, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, the way he should have responded was, "I'm sorry. Let's think of ways in which we can, do this more efficiently. I understand you're frustrated with me, but at this moment I can't do anything else, And he probably would have responded like, "Yo, I'm sorry. I apologize," Hearing that come out of his own daughter probably put it into perspective what he said was wrong. But for her to come out and say, "It's your job," she basically told him, how that reporter told LeBron, "Shut up and dribble." She basically told him, "Shut up and drive."
Did she say it's your job though?
That's basically what she said.
It just says, yesterday I had asked my dad if he could pick me up as the bus I was supposed to take never came.
But what did she say in response to him saying whatever he said?
She said, "That's just what happens when you have a disabled child, and it's something you have to put up with."
Yeah, you have to put up with it. So basically she told him, "Shut up and drive."
But that comes, again, we're not justifying disrespecting parents, but that comes with, she's frustrated as well at being stranded somewhere where a bus, who knows how long she's been waiting there for the bus.
Yeah.
And then she had to call her parents. If you're taking the bus, yeah, you're not driving, but you're still not being a burden on someone else. The fact that you're having to call your dad, you're aware that you're being a burden.
Yeah.
And then you're still frustrated that you were stranded that long waiting for the bus. And then your dad comes or let's not say dad, because I'm not a person that justifies disrespecting their parents. And then the person that you called comes, and then they make the comment of, "You should know how to drive."
Okay.
In that moment, you're already frustrated and you're already aware that you're being a burden. And sometimes when you're frustrated and you feel bad for burdening someone else, sometimes you do say inappropriate comments. That wasn't an inappropriate comment, but that was not the time for that conversation.
But her dad's doing her a favor.
He is.
Why would you berate the person who's helping you?
But why would you make a comment in that? You should be emotionally aware for both.
Because he's inconvenienced.
On both of them, they should be emotionally aware. He should be emotionally. She's been stranded here for a little while. She's gonna sound frustrated, especially she's 22. You should know your child already, in what moments to bring shit up by.
But you're basically saying that the guy has no room for emotions.
He has room for emotion.
He's gonna, like he's saying, he's a human being. There's gonna be times where he's at a boiling point. He's gonna break.
But you're an adult. We're all in this world right now. We know how to speak.
They're both adults.
I know, but he is at this point right now. We are aware of when to bring up comments towards people and when not to.
Sometimes, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes you're not fully aware of that because of the situation you're in currently.
Regardless,
you can blow up. That's a natural human thing that happens.
That could be.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're trying to dissect their conversation, right? They're both at a frustrating point,
right?
They're both at some sort of uncomfortable position where they're both not angry. They're just angry at the circumstance,
right?
So we're justifying what he's saying to her in that moment, but we're just trying to look down and say, "Yo, you shouldn't be speaking like that to her." Where they're both at a frustrating point.
Well, it's not necessary. Like, the thing is, I think personally, to use your disabilities as something to throw in somebody's face is the worst of the two acts that's been done here.
But to bring up an aspect of something that I cannot control, especially in this moment where I've been standing here stranded waiting for this bus.
Yeah.
And then I had to swallow my own pride because she takes bus. She could be the spoiled person that says, "Yo, I want to be driven everywhere." She takes bus as a point of independence. I want to be independent. I don't want to rely on anybody. I don't want to be a burden on anybody.
Okay.
That moment, she had to put that pride aside and say, "Yo, I have to call somebody."
But she couldn't put it aside in the car.
That whole point is her trying to swallow her pride and call.
Yeah.
And now you throwing an aspect of that, what I cannot control, in my face. Is that proper?
I think that's first off, I don't agree with her having to swallow her pride to call her dad. I think she was in a situation where She had no choice but to.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think that's like what the only other option is what? To be stranded there?
Exactly.
So I don't think that's swallowing your pride. I think that's out of necessity. That's where I disagree with you.
That's swallowing your pride a bit because, again...
But how? Okay, look, let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. If I'm stuck in the rain, I have no ride to get home, and the only person that can bring me home is somebody who I'm not seeing eye to eye with right now, am I going to stand in the rain and stay wet, or am I just going to swallow my pride and call them?
No, but you want, to a certain extent, you want to thug things out. You want to see, hey, I don't want to inconvenience my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see how long I can wait for this bus. Sometimes if I'm taking a bus, I'm waiting 20 minutes. If I need that bus to get where I need to go, if I need that bus to get home, I'll wait 20 minutes. I'll wait 30 minutes. I don't want to call Uber right now. I don't want to call for a ride. I'll wait as long as it needs to take for this bus to get here, because I don't want to inconvenience it. I don't want to spend an exuberant amount of money, especially Ubers now.
Right. I hear
so
you.
That's swallowing pride.
That makes sense. Yeah. But like my thing is like, okay, you see a fire, you're putting more gasoline on it. Is that the solution here?
How's it throwing more gasoline on?
Somebody made a comment that you don't like, right? The dad said you should learn how to drive. And now you're going to make an even worse comment on top of that to solve the problem?
But again, right now, I wear glasses.
Okay, I don't.
Okay.
Huh?
I do, but I'm not wearing them right now.
No, I'm not making comment. I'm saying I wear glasses.
Okay.
I have an ailment right now.
So do I. I wear glasses too.
You throw in a comment about my ailment, would that be proper?
No, not at all.
In a point of where we're both frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my glasses. I can't see. I'm relying on you a little bit for navigational purposes,
Mm-hmm.
but you are tired after a long day.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be proper about, yo, you should go get contacts?
That's different though.
That's completely
How's that different?
Because that's 22 years of boiling point. Because what you're saying is like an instance in which you require support, right? What I'm saying is the father, since a young age, was supporting this girl. And I'm not, to the point that I made earlier, he's not a perfect.
This is after thousands of rides. You know what I mean?
And I'm not justifying what he said was correct.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's two L's here being taken.
What I'm saying is, I like the point that you made. Are you just gonna throw fire? You're gonna throw you're just gonna make the fire bigger, bro?
But they're both at that moment, they're both emotionally.
But there's somebody who is giving you a favor.
Regardless.
There's somebody who's doing a favor for you.
So you're gonna throw the favor in my face at this moment right now?
I'm not saying I'm throwing in but what I'm saying is, why would you berate the person who's supporting you? Instead, why don't you respond with, how can we do this differently in order for you to do this less in the future?
Not
like
to mention
for her, it was kind of like an argument. Like, why couldn't it be more like, how can we solve this in order for you to be less frustrated?
But you, at a frustrating point that you had to come pick her up,
yeah,
could have waited till the next day when everyone has a clear mind to bring up this topic. Why does that topic need to be brought up right now?
It doesn't. That's not what's in justification. That's not what I'm justifying. I'm saying that wasn't right. That's not what should have happened.
Okay.
But what happened after made the situation way worse.
Regardless.
That's not regardless, though.
Comment that
how can that be regardless?
The comment that started the conversation didn't need to happen.
I think that was
one didn't need to happen.
But the reason why I say that one of the two was worse is because I can see the viewpoint of the dad having 22 years of taking care of this child.
You guys keep on bringing up 22 years. Like,
yeah, that's pent up. That's pent up aggression.
He didn't have this child.
He did.
Is this a child that he borrowed from someone else? 22 years is the child that he.
Yeah, but he's a human being. He's a human being.
Well, you guys keep on throwing up 22 years like this is a job.
It is a job.
This is
when you have a disabled child. That's work.
Parenthood is a responsibility.
You put in extra work.
Child,
brother. Yeah, the circumstance he's in is that he's had this child. And he's been taking care of this disabled child for their entire lives. There's going to come a time, naturally, as a human being, where he feels inconvenienced in taking care of this disabled child. Of course, he loves his child. He'll do whatever it takes. That's why he didn't say, fuck off, I'm not coming. But he has a right to feel a certain way because of the situation he's in, the circumstances he's in. He's also being inconvenienced here. We don't know what he was doing before he came to pick this girl up or this person up.
Yeah.
We don't know. So there's a lot of holes in the story that we can't fill with assumption, in my opinion. But I'm just saying, based off of the fact, we see that one person's comment led to another person's comment, and now we have a situation that they're asking for advice about. And that's the advice I'm giving. I think that they're the asshole because they took it too far.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they weren't justified in saying what I'm saying. That comment could have been a different comment that didn't lead to this. Imagine she just said, I can't drive. You know that. Doctor said I can't drive.
Yeah.
That's
He would look
completely
like
the
an
same
asshole.
way
Can I
of this.
interrupt you
Of
there?
Go ahead.
He neglected. He said, regardless of what they said, you should be able to drive.
Can I read that verbatim?
Read that back. That's where he started. He neglected the doctor's point.
Okay. Yesterday, I asked my dad if he could pick me up as the bus I was supposed to take never came. When he went to pick me up, he made a few comments saying that it would be a lot easier if I could drive and how I should learn to drive anyways, despite the fact that doctors don't want me to drive as he hates having to pick me up all the time.
Yeah, but it's okay. Is that a good point that Mukhtar brought up, sir? But what I'm saying is,
No,
No,
he's
'cause
right. No, that's a good point.
it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't invalidate the experience that he's frustrated.
It-
Like I get it. What you're trying to say is, he should do it. But are you just gonna tell him to just noise and just like do whatever he's told, brother? I'm aware of somebody in my life who is a caregiver.
Mhm.
Okay, and they do everything for this person.
Yeah.
And they love this person so much. But there are times when you are so frustrated. And it's like how am I supposed to do everything for you? But then you have to take a step back and be like, I love this person, you know? But you know, it's an inconvenience to you at times and where you have to step away from the conversation. But sometimes there's things that are said that you can't take back, you know? And that was probably something that he knew well off that what he said was incorrect.
Yeah.
And he probably regretted it when it came out of his mouth, of course. But that's probably because he was at a boiling point that he couldn't control. He's a human being.
I accept that point that he is a human being, but there's outlets. Your wife is an outlet. There's other. You can go any therapy is an outlet. Other people are an outlet, except for the person right now. The person that you mentioned that's caregiving for the other person. Would they ever make a comment to the person they're caregiving?
They have before.
What is that proper?
It's not proper, but
It's something that happens.
It happens.
It's something that happens.
Like you,
it's just a natural
it's like you have,
aspect.
yeah. It's like you have this idea that parenthood or caregiving is like this perfection in which you have to act perfect all the time. No, there are times where people. This is a time where the father messed up. We can admit that, right?
Yeah.
100% he messed up.
Yep.
And he probably knew when it came out of his tongue, came out of his mouth, it was wrong. You know, but for her to be like, in her own way, I'm rephrasing what she said, shut up and just do what you're told. I think that's such a disrespect. Like, how are you going to thank me? It's and not that he needs thanks, but like for everything I did for 22 years, and you just look at it as shut up and do what. Like, do you not respect me as a not as a parent, but as like somebody who's in the household who's supporting you with everything?
Another thing too is that like, what do you expect of the people that have been taking care of you for this long and probably longer after if you're making comments like that?
Yeah.
You know?
I get that she was improper for the way the comment she made, but the initial comment, if that didn't come out the way it came out, and if he didn't clean it up after, the second comment would have come. Because there's nothing of her control that this circumstance create.
There's nothing of the dad's control. There's nothing of the dad's control that could have, you know, like we're assuming that he's frustrated, right? For having been inconvenienced.
We're assuming they're both frustrated.
Right. We're assuming that they're both frustrated for having been inconvenienced. But you're giving one person a pass and sticking on another person for, I don't understand why that is.
I'm not giving her the pass. I'm saying his comment, we're giving him, you guys are giving him a pass.
I'm not giving him a pass.
I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying that it's more understandable what he said rather than, I can see myself saying what he said more than what she said.
Because right now you are a person that gives rides instead of asks for rides.
But if I'm in the position where if I'm in the position where I can't take care for myself, I would never demean the person that's taking care of me. I can't fathom that. I can't.
Like, I have a real life scenario where I remember when I was younger, I asked somebody, "Hey, can you take me somewhere?" And obviously, at this point, I couldn't drive, and they were like, "Yo, I'm not your taxi." You know, like this is like a comparable, and this person loved me as a person. Like they were like a parental figure to me, but they were so frustrated with my constant request of being like, "Yo, could you take me somewhere?" And they would do anything for me, and they still did take me somewhere. But that came out of their mouth, and I was like, "I'm sorry. Maybe I should look." They were like, "Yo, my bad, came out wrong." It's just natural for somebody to overreact at times in which, you know, so much is on their plate.
No, man.
But okay.
We can wrap this up because I'm not going to. We expect people to have some decorum of how they speak. Mm-hmm. And I understand there's boiling points, but you cannot react, say, yo, this is what she said to me when you made a comment like that about something that they cannot control. We're not in control of our ailments.
So you believe fight fire with fire?
No, I believe they both at a boiling point, and they both.
But then if
Who's the asshole? Who's the asshole?
I don't see an asshole there.
So she's not the asshole?
She's not the asshole to me.
Interesting.
Because this. If he made one comment, he probably made a few others beforehand.
Who's in the wrong here?
In this story right now, she's not an asshole to you.
I don't see an asshole.
Who's in the wrong then?
No.
Dad's in the wrong.
You have to answer the question. Who's in the wrong?
I see him in the wrong more than her.
So you see him as the asshole then?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's the asshole.
Completely disagree. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel for that dad. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm assuming at 22 years old, at this point now, since she's legally known as an adult, she's going to some doctor appointments by herself, doing things for herself a little bit, right? Gaining some small independence, and then still having to have the need of your parents taking care of you for certain things and treating them a certain way. It just doesn't register in my mind.
But it doesn't register to me. You are aware that she probably feels bad for calling you. And you are aware that she has some...
Not in that moment. Not in that moment.
In the moment, he brought up a comment saying you, regardless
that's
of
what I'm saying. It's not. I'm saying that that's not right, but that happens sometimes. And that's just natural. That people get to that point where they say things they regret. It's happened to me. He's explained several anecdotes of it happening to him. Yeah, I'm just saying that that's a natural human aspect that you're failing to understand.
It happens to all of us.
Right.
So someone's asked of us.
So why are we condemning this person?
We're young adults, and we learned how to swallow our pride a bit.
Yeah.
And learn how to speak to people with decorum.
Do you think for the rest of your life you will never say something out of turn again?
You would, but I wouldn't just decline what I said.
Mm-hmm.
What brought that comment onto me? What brought that reaction from you onto me?
Okay.
I wouldn't deny what I said.
Not saying you are.
I don't believe in spreading my issue of my conflict with you or my conflict with my child to someone else.
That's not in question here. I'm saying that, do you agree that there are times in life where people say things that they do not mean or they instantly want to take back?
Yes, for both of them in the circumstance,
right.
Though.
So in that case, does that not mean that this person can get to a point where they can be in that situation and say something they don't mean?
My whole point is they both...
Why does that make this person an asshole?
Because your comment made this whole situation rise.
Right. But if we're acknowledging that sometimes people say things that they don't mean, so why does that make you an asshole? Why are you
giving him such a decorum and not her, though?
Because
she can't be frustrated in this moment?
Okay, I understand the frustration. It's the comments we're discussing here.
But we're giving him decorum because of he's frustrated.
Because he's saying something that he truly feels, but he shouldn't say, right? She's saying something that she probably, if she feels that way, she's an asshole, guaranteed. That her parents have to do this for her, right? And if she's not feeling that way, then she's just trying to, mix up some fire. Like, I don't understand what do you get out of saying that is what I'm trying to say.
But clearly, this is not the way she reacted. This is not his first comment about this.
Oh, no. You're inferring. You can't do that.
But if someone repeatedly says something to you,
mm-hmm.
that's the type of reaction that I don't believe that type of reaction comes out right away. This is not reported.
Let's take what we have so far. I feel like you're adding extra context.
Because if this is a certain circumstance,
I like how passionate you get about it. I like how passionate you're getting about it. Let's keep going.
You interrupted my flow.
No, keep the flow going. Keep the flow going.
No, we're rocking too long. But if this is something, she said that I asked him for rides twice a week. This is clearly not the first time this comment seems to have come out. Otherwise, why would I go directly to my ailment?
Because she's an asshole.
I don't.
That's what I
can't just throw asshole on her because she made this comment.
I don't think she's an asshole for the ways, for the lack
what she said,
her resources. I think she's an asshole for the way she treats the people who support her.
That's what I think. Again, you're inferring. We can't say that.
What do you mean? I'm just guessing it off of what she said to him. I'm not inferring.
She said,
"How do you say that?"
You have a disabled child.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying neglect the doctor's recommendations.
My point is, don't fight fire with fire, brother. That's my whole point.
While the person light the match. Why light the match?
What?
Why start the fire in the beginning?
So your thing is keep adding to the fire.
No, I'm saying don't start the fire at the beginning.
No, but let's say I start a fire. You're adding to it?
Yes.
Okay, you see, that's where you and I disagree.
Yeah, I don't fight fire with fire, man.
I don't fight fire with fire.
I disagree heavily.
I know you're the person. We're putting the parental thing aside.
Mm-hmm.
If someone comes with you with some sort of disrespect, are you not the person that tries to stand up for yourself?
It depends on the circumstance. Is it a random person on the street? I'm not gonna, You know?
I'm not justifying parents. That's why I keep on removing.
Yo, chances are, fam, I walk away from most situations. I'm not going to be out here fighting unnecessary battles. Like, I'm not, like, why do I have to add stress to somebody who doesn't even matter in my life? Why am I giving that person space in me? Pause. You know?
We're in a serious moment.
But you know what I mean? Why am I giving that person any space at all? Like, they don't deserve that. Just because somebody comes and calls me an asshole, you know, I'm not going to be, okay, am I going to fight back and forth? No, I'm not adding fire to that. In this situation, I don't think it's right. If somebody's like, let's say a parent is like, yo, you did this wrong, blah, 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 and yelling at me, right? I'd be like, yo, how can I support you in order to be better? I'm not going to be like, yo, this is what you did yesterday, blah, blah, blah. I'm not fighting back. I'm not arguing. I don't think there was an effective way for this conversation to end, because they're obviously going to go back and forth now. Next day, he told the mom. They're probably going to have a whole family meeting now. If he came out and said, yo, my bad, what can I do better? He probably would have felt like an idiot for saying that comment. And then not only that, but he probably would have sat down with her and brainstormed ideas on how they can effectively do this moving forward. You know? But for her to be like, yo, shut up and drive. All right.
So we can't just reduce what she said to shut up and drive.
That's basically what she said.
That's kind of the sum of what she was saying. She said,
in this moment where you said don't infer, we can't reduce what she said.
Okay, yo, say that exact line.
You could just say that she
Let's
said...
end this Am I the Asshole with that line, fam. Go ahead.
I told my parents they birthed a disabled child, so they just have to deal with it.
Bet. You don't hear that?
I don't see that as... I see that the person that started the fight to begin with.
All right, cool.
They're both an asshole to me, but he's more of an asshole for starting the argument.
Okay.
That's unnecessary.
I disagree heavily. I think that the person who made the situation worse should understand that, and hopefully she's reading the comments.
Yeah, we can disagree.
Like you guys are. Write the comments. We want to hear your opinion, all right? Passionate conversations always on the Coffee Break Podcast. So we bring you guys every week. Stay tuned for the next one.
Stay tuned.